You wake up, you scroll, you work, you sleep. And somewhere in between, you start to wonder if you're even in control anymore. Like, maybe you're not the main character. Maybe you're just here, running the same script on loop. No quests, no upgrades, no story arc, just default mode. If that's you, pause. Because today, we're rewriting your code. We're diving into solo leveling, where the weakest man in the world, literally the guy nobody would choose in a raid, gets a second chance. Not with magic, not with luck, but with one brutal truth. The game only changes when you do. So, if you've been drifting, coasting, existing, you're about to learn why. And more importantly, how to finally break out. Because NPCs follow the script. Players, they rewrite it. Stick around to the end, because the final shift will flip how you see your whole life. What if the safe life is actually the one trapping you? Most of us aren't unhappy because things are terrible. We're unhappy because things are fine. Fine enough to survive. Just not fine enough to thrive. You're not in danger, you're just disconnected. You've become a background character in your own life. And the worst part, you don't even realize it. Psychologists call this learned helplessness, a concept coined by Dr. Martin Seligman. When someone faces stress or failure enough times without control, they eventually stop trying, even when freedom is possible. That's the NPC trap. The belief that no matter what you do, it won't matter. So why bother? Jinwoo, Episode 1. Bottom tier hunter. Scared, weak, useless. Even his party forgets his name. He's the guy people expect to lose. And here's the twist. He accepts it. He believes that's just who he is. His role. He stops trying to level up because he doesn't think he can. Ever stay at a job way too long because, at least the coffee's free? Or keep putting off that dream project because, what's the point? No one will care. That's not laziness. That's what learned helplessness feels like. The prison isn't the job, or the relationship, or the situation. It's the belief that you can't escape it. Here's the hard truth. The longer you stay comfortable, the more it rots you. Because comfort doesn't mean peace, it means pause. And if you pause too long, you forget you were ever built for more. Today, do one uncomfortable thing that breaks your loop. Doesn't have to be big, just intentional. Say no when you usually say yes. Start the thing you keep avoiding. You don't have to escape the dungeon today. You just have to stop pretending you belong there. Every main character arc begins the same way. Something has to break. Let's be honest, most people don't change because they want to. They change because they have to. Not because they read a quote on Instagram, but because they hit that moment where staying the same becomes unbearable. You've been there, staring at the ceiling at 2 a.m., scrolling, spiraling, overthinking, avoiding, until suddenly, the silence screams louder than your notifications. That's not weakness. That's your call to adventure. In psychology, this moment is the disruption point, a psychological low that breaks behavioral inertia. It's the rock bottom that wakes you up. According to Dr. James Prochaska's Stages of Change model, this is what sparks the preparation phase, when contemplation finally turns into action. Episode 2. The dungeon turns. What looked like a routine mission becomes a slaughterhouse. Jinwoo watches his team, his friends, slaughtered around him. Crushed, screaming, begging. He's bleeding. Alone. Powerless. And worst of all, he still blames himself. He doesn't think, I deserve to live. He thinks, at least let me die protecting someone. He prays for survival. Not because he believes he'll make it out, but because he wants one more chance to matter. Great, bleeding out in a murder dungeon. Classic Tuesday. That's when it happens. The system chooses him. Not because he's special, but because he made a choice not to die there. Maybe you've had that moment after a breakup, after being fired, after failing one too many times, when your world breaks in just the right way to show you the cracks that were always there. It hurts, but sometimes that pain is the only thing strong enough to shake you awake. Most people think rock bottom is the end, but it's actually the reboot. It strips away everything fake until only the real you is left. If you're in that place now, don't rush to escape it. Ask, what is this trying to show me? Because pressure doesn't just crush you. It can also form something else, a blade, a resolve, a new beginning. Pain isn't your punishment, it's your portal. NPCs follow orders. Players make decisions. Here's what no one tells you. Most people aren't stuck because of circumstance. They're stuck because they haven't decided yet. They're waiting for the right mood, the right sign, the right YouTube video to hit them like a bolt of lightning. Maybe this one. But you don't find momentum. You choose it. According to Viktor Frankl, Holocaust survivor and psychologist, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In that choice lies your freedom. That's the real skill tree no one teaches you. The ability to pause, choose, act. That's when you stop living like an NPC. Episode 3, Jinwoo wakes up. New interface, new rules, and most importantly, a choice. Accept the system or die. That's it. No tutorials, no guidebook, no mentor. The daily quest looks simple. Do 100 push-ups, run 10 kilometers. Sounds manageable until you realize the system isn't here to make him comfortable. It's here to make him earn everything. Jinwoo could have said no, logged off, quit, but he doesn't. He accepts. And from that moment on, he's not following anyone else's path. He's carving his own. Ever had a day where you almost started something? The gym, the side hustle, the application. Then your brain whispers, tomorrow. So you scroll instead. Maybe right now. That's the lie. That you'll choose later. But every day you delay, you reinforce the version of you who doesn't choose. The biggest difference between background characters and main characters, it isn't strength, it's direction. One of them waits, the other moves. Here's your quest. Pick something today that scares you, but moves you forward. Send the email. Book the thing. Press record. Even if it's messy, especially if it's messy. Because clarity doesn't come before action. It comes after you choose. You don't need a miracle. You need momentum. Everyone wants the glow up. The dramatic montage. The overnight success story with lo-fi beats and a hero shot. But when it's time to do the reps, to show up in silence, to do the same boring task for the 6th day in a row, yeah, suddenly no one's filming that part. Because real growth doesn't feel like fireworks. It feels like repetition. Quiet, unseen, unsexy. Psychologists call this deliberate practice. Structured, focused effort over time. Not hustle, not chaos, just intentional, boring struggle. James Clear says it better. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. So yeah, your habits, they're your actual level. Episodes 4 through 8. Jinwoo starts grinding. Push-ups, sprints, quests. He logs stats. He bleeds. He repeats. He doesn't hope he's improving. He knows he is, because the system doesn't reward vibes. It rewards discipline. Most people treat goals like lottery tickets. I'll go big one day and everything will change. Spoiler, it won't. Change isn't what you do once. It's what you repeat, especially when no one's watching. You want to know who you're becoming? Look at your Tuesday morning. Jinwoo didn't awaken with magic. He showed up. He logged in. He stacked tiny wins until the world had no choice but to notice. You won't go viral doing push-ups alone at 6 a.m. And honestly, That's why it works. That's how you become powerful. Not with sparks, with systems. Stop asking if it's working. Start asking if you're working. Set one non-negotiable routine this week. Something tiny, but daily. Track it. Protect it. Let it anchor your arc. You don't need more motivation. You need a method. Because the grind isn't what holds you back. It's what builds you. You weren't born to be an extra, but you do have to earn the lead role. We talk a lot about main character energy these days. Confidence, control, swagger. But most people are trying to feel like the main character without doing what it takes to become one. You don't build presence by faking it. You build it by becoming the kind of person who leads themselves, even when no one's watching, especially then. This is the psychology of self-agency, the belief that you control your own actions and outcomes. Studies show high-agency individuals report better mental health, stronger relationships, and higher life satisfaction. In other words, when you take responsibility for everything in your life, you stop being a background character in everyone else's. Episode 9 and beyond. Jinwoo walks into dungeons alone. Other hunters panic. He doesn't even blink. He doesn't flex. He doesn't talk big. He just moves. He's gone from overlooked to overpowered. Not because the system handed it to him, but because he earned it. He bled for it. He trained for it. He chose it. That's main character energy. Think of someone you admire. Not for what they say, but for how they carry themselves. Maybe it's your gym coach, your quiet coworker who's always ahead of deadlines, your friend who started that business alone and never quit. They don't chase attention. They move with intention. Here's the reveal. Main character energy has nothing to do with aesthetics or approval. It's not about people looking at you. It's about you no longer looking for them. Confidence is built in private. Authority is built in silence. And identity? It's forged in the choices no one else sees. You don't need more followers. You need more follow-through. So tomorrow, walk into your life like it's your dungeon. Not with arrogance, with alignment. With the kind of energy that doesn't ask for permission because it's already done the work. Maybe you've been drifting. Maybe you've been waiting for the right time, the right mood, the right sign. But deep down, you already know the truth. You've been the player this whole time. You just forgot. Because life, school, jobs, expectations trained you to play it safe. But safety isn't growth. Comfort isn't clarity. And drifting isn't living. Jinwoo was nothing until he made one decision: to stop being passive, to stop waiting, to start playing, not because the system made him strong, but because he showed up for himself long before anyone else did. So here's your moment. Not some flashy turning point, just a quiet invitation. Take back the pen, pick your quest, exit the loop, and start playing.